My grandmother is afraid of dogs. It's probably because she was born before the civil rights movement, where black folks who tried to protest had dogs sicked on them, where people of color who tried to vote could just as easily be hung. It is no longer 1965. But when my grandmother sees my Boston Terrier, she sees a premonition of what America once was and thinks it still is. And I want to tell her she's wrong, but I am running out of proof. Truth is, my grandmother may be right. Maybe we haven't come as far as we think, or maybe we're just traveling backwards. There aren't as many fire hoses and dogs attacking protesters, but there is pepper spray, and there is handcuffs. As we modernize racism, racism begins to modernize too. In 2017, Georgia's governor purged over 500,000 voter registrations. Voter discrimination by a new name following 2018 and 2020, there were 72 allegations of voter suppression and voter fraud. There was a reason they don't want people of color to vote. It is the same reason they didn't allow us to vote in the first place. The same reason they didn't give women the right to vote either. They do not want us to be heard like they have never wanted us to be heard, because they know, like we do, they will not like what we have to say. And this and more is the reasons why we must not merely vote. We must come out in waves, a raging tsunami of the silence, an ocean of the oppressed ready to flood the ballots. When we do not come out in waves, do not mobilize together as a unified people, we allow racists of the past to be empowered in the now. We allow men without uterus to legislate on bodies they do not own. And in the same year, the Supreme Court ruled that the insurrectionists who stormed the White House were improperly charged, y'all. They reaffirmed a ban on homelessness without providing housing. Wow. And in the same country built by the slaves, there are states fighting to teach that it was us who were truly benefited. And they are rewriting history. At the same time, they are undermining human rights. This is a war on all sides, one of which we are not only running out of time because climate change may kill us before discrimination has a chance to. And in 2010, the top 10 most climate polluting plants in Georgia were responsible for 91% of global warming emissions. And Georgia is home to 3 of the top 100 most polluting power plants, all thanks to environmental policies put in place to make the rich richer, while giving the rest of us poor living conditions. Climate change is on the rise in the countryside and by the sea. There are children suffering from respiratory disease and air pollution, trying to make a future for themselves while the ice caps melt and the sea levels rise. We are all waiting for a change that we must choose to be. Waiting in a prejudice so deep we could smell the drowning in the air. We see the blood in the water. But together, and only together, can we be the bridge to a better tomorrow by standing out and standing up, starting today.